I'm Chris Burleson, Product Manager for Polaris Fast Dynamic. If you're not familiar with it, Fast Dynamic is Black Duck's next-generation cloud-based dynamic analysis engine, purpose-built for maximum speed in modern application architectures. Hosted on the Polaris platform, Fast Dynamic effectively tests against both web and API endpoints on internal or external networks. When utilizing a new platform or tool, the first obstacle is getting effectively onboarded and getting new tests running. Today, we're going to take a quick dive into onboarding both a web and an API project via Polaris, testing them, and reviewing our initial results. Let's jump right into our setup. First thing I'll need to do is create a new application to hold our new dynamic scan. I can enter a description if I would like, any tags to search for in our portfolio. I will want to use a DAST subscription. I don't need SAST or SCA for this test. I can create that application. And I can create a new project. I can add a local entry point for this test. I am hosting this on my local machine. I do want to run a web application test. I'd like to test this as a website. I can name my scan profile. I don't want to do any advanced setup options for this particular test, and I don't need any additional hosts to test beyond the base, so I won't worry about those for now. I will select active attacks. I'm not worried about the production integrity of this application, so I can be a little bit more rigorous with my testing. I have not selected authentication for this particular test. This application runs without an authenticated mode. I can save here, and next I'll be able to run my tests. From the projects list here, I can request to run a new test. DAST is pre-configured here. I can test this connection if I would like, or I can just begin the test immediately. I now have a test running on this application. We'll keep an eye on its progress here and check back in a few minutes. Next, we can add an API project. Again, I've got this running in a private network on my local machine. We'll do API testing for this. And I will upload my API spec for this application. Once again, I can perform active attacks, and this is an unauthenticated application. So I can save this. Okay, and once again, we can request a new test of this API. We'll begin that. You can see my previous test for the web application is already completed, and we'll give this API test a few minutes to complete as well. Now that I have results from both my web application and API scans, I can click into any of these tests or look at my findings panel in the platform and continue to look through any of my vulnerabilities that have been detected and triage them, assign them to users, or any additional changes that I would like to make. Including common error messages. Or I can look at this just as a summary of the scan. In addition, I can look at these as a collection specifically of findings for anything based on vulnerability criticality. And I can look at additional information, including vulnerability class information or remediation guidance, as well as my vulnerability scores. For any additional information on the Polaris Fast Dynamic product, please visit blackduck.com/Polaris.